Tuscaloosa to frenzy.
It's caught. It's caught.
We talked about Alabama.
Alabama reaches the College Cup for the first time. The first soccer championship in school history.
Alabama.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Beautiful, Yurchenko, 1.5. That is a 10-0. What a trooper. Lily Hudson, outstanding performer, and that was great.
Perfection from Lily Hudson on vault this past Friday night in Gainesville. Roll Tide and welcome to the Crimson Tide production studio inside of Bryant-Denny Stadium. I'm Kinsey Hughes, joined this week by Shaw Pryor, who's sitting in for Roger Hoover. Shaw, good to see you. Thank you for joining me, man.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here today, but look, we have a lot of great performances to talk about this week, and we start with perfection from the Alabama Gymnastics team.
Making their first conference road trip of the season, the 6th-ranked Alabama Crimson Tide traveled to Gainesville to take on the 8th-ranked Florida Gators. Going into the event, Alabama was first in the nation on the uneven bars, and the Tide wasted no time jumping out to an early lead. Makari Doggett and Luisa Blanco closed out the rotation with back-to-back 9.925s for a team score of 49.35.
On the Crimson Tide's second routine of the night, Coach Johnston saw perfection. In the middle of the vault lineup, Lily Hudson nailed the dismount for a perfect 10, the second of her career. Luisa Blanco added a 9.95 to give the Tide a season high in the event with a 49.4.
Hudson also earned a share of the floor event title as she finished with a 9.925 to better the Gators' total by 100th of a point. Entering the final rotation in a back-and-forth battle towards the end of the meet, Blanco secured the victory for the Crimson Tide with a season-high 9.95 on the balance beam. 6th-ranked Alabama won 3 of the 4 events as the Tide bettered its team score for the 3rd straight meet to defeat number 8 Florida in Gainesville 197.575 to 197.425.
And for the second time this season, Luisa Blanco was named the Southeastern Conference Gymnast of the Week. Blanco recorded 3 consecutive hot scores of 9.925 or higher.
And on the balance beam, Blanco calmly posted a meet-clinching season-high 9.95 to secure the win over number 8 Florida.
A big week for the Alabama Gymnastics team. The Crimson Tide are still ranked 6th. We got a perfect 10 from Lily Hudson, and Luisa Blanco is now number 1 in the nation on the uneven bars.
An electric week for the Gym Tide, and to talk about that and the great start to the season, Coach Ashley Johnston joins us now along with our Delaney Jones.
Excited to have the head coach of Alabama Gymnastics, Ashley Johnston, in the studio today with us. Coach, Alabama has started unbeaten through the first month of the season. What's been the key factor in Bama Gymnastics' success so far?
You know, our culture has been the key success. We've worked really hard starting in August on just building a level of trust and camaraderie among each person on our team, and I think you can really see that out there on the competition floor, the way that they have each other's backs and they're just really owning their journey.
Lily Hudson has been having an incredible season so far, first with her 9.95 performance on floor against Arkansas to tie the meet, and then a perfect 10 on vault against Florida. As her coach, how does it feel to watch her just execute these incredible routines?
I'm so proud of the way that Lily has approached her season. You know, she has been a rock for this team. Yet at the same time, a lot of people don't know that she is stepping into challenges every single day and rising to them. She continues to push her threshold and just understanding who she is as a gymnast, what goes into creating those great performances. And so it really is a great moment to see that all come together in some critical moments for the team.
The team has a tough schedule up ahead. What is your message to the girls as they head into those meets, and what is your goal for them?
It's really important to just own the process. I think it's easy to get distracted with the outcome, the win, the score, all of those different things, but ultimately those are distractions. Those are the things that they try to catch our attention, and we just continue to speak to being grounded and staying focused on the process, the things that we can control, which is attitude, effort, approach, all of those parts of preparation. And I think if our team continues to commit to that, we're going to continue to see the growth that we want to experience.
Well, I myself cannot wait to watch more Friday Night Heights. Thank you so much for coming in today and talking with us today, Coach. Good luck on the rest of the season, and Roll Tide.
Thank you so much. Roll Tide.
We'll have more on TideTV coming up next.
TideTV This Week is presented by the University of Alabama, where legends are made. Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide.
The sellout crowd at Colby Coliseum was not disappointed. What an unbelievable matchup. Wow.
All the work they've been putting in. Absolute great competitor. Just beautiful to watch from start to finish.
I am blown away. Practice is paying off, and she knows it. The 10s were contagious tonight. It's going to be a big number.
And sticks that landing.
Beautiful landing. Oh, my God.
What a moment for the Crimson Tide.
What matters is how you play. When the ball tips up, how you play in SEC games, and that's what we're concerned with, getting better every day.
Alabama does that as good as anybody in the country.
This is going to be a fun team both tonight and throughout the season to watch. And what a scene right now.
The triple-digit Tide again.
It's an Alabama team still in the fight.
Oh, mercy! Climb the ladder! Jumped off the top of it.
Now the loose balls, the scramble floor situations, Alabama has won the majority of those.
Hard fought. This is going to be a heavyweight fight.
It is good! Let's get out of here!
How strong you have to be in this game. Watch this. That's a man's game right there. Their culture is toughness.
Wow, if that doesn't get you pumped for some Alabama basketball, we may need to check your pulse. We're about a month into SEC play, and guess who's in first place? The Crimson Tide, baby.
A big win over number 8 Auburn last week. This week, Alabama had 2 more conference matchups, one at home on Saturday against LSU, and on Wednesday night, the Tide hit the road to Athens against LSU on Saturday night.
It was a tight first half with 9 lead changes and 5 ties as Alabama led by 3 at the half, 41-38. Latrell Wrightsell Jr. had a big first half, leading all scorers with 14 points. Alabama had several big runs in the second half to pull away from LSU. To open the final 20 minutes of play, the Tide went on a 14-7 run to lead by 11, 64-53.
After an LSU three-pointer, the Tide went on another big run. A 15-4 run put Bama up by 18, 79-61. Late in the game, the Tide used another 10-2 run to increase their lead to 22 at 91-69. A Sam Walters 3 put the icing on the cake for the Crimson Tide. The last points of the game, the Tide has rolled big, eclipsing the century mark for the 6th time this season. The Crimson Tide dominated the Bayou Bengals 109-88.
The 109-point total was a school record 6th game this season. The Crimson Tide have scored more than 100 points in a game. That also leads the nation for the season. Along with leading the nation in 100-point games, Alabama also leads the country in scoring. The Crimson Tide are averaging 89.6 points per game.
5 players scored in double figures for the Crimson Tide, led by Mark Sears with 21, as he was a perfect 11 of 11 from the free throw line.
That's not easy to do, and that win over the LSU Tigers put the Crimson Tide in sole possession of first place in the SEC at 6-1.
Alabama looked to stay in first place on Wednesday night as the Tide made the trip to Athens to take on the Georgia Bulldogs.
It was all Georgia early on as the Bulldogs jumped out to a 17-2 lead and led by 14 at the half, 41-27. Georgia led by as many as 16, but the Tide never gave up. Alabama battled back, chipping away at the lead in the second half, and the Tide finally tied the game with just over 5.5 minutes to play on this three-pointer from Rylan Griffin. That one made it 64-all.
The next points came on a Grant Nelson putback to give the Crimson Tide their first lead of the game, 66-64. Georgia tied it up at 66-all, but the Tide answered right back. This time it was Mark Sears from beyond the arc to give Alabama the lead back, 69-66. From there, Alabama never trailed again. What a comeback as the Tide rallied for the 9-point victory on the road in Athens, 85-76.
There was a timeout, 10 minutes and some change to go, and somebody in the huddle was saying, we can win this game. I said, no, stop. We are going to win this game. There's no we can. We're winning this game, and here's how we're going to do it. We've got to get stops. We got to rebound the ball better. At one point, we were down 31-9 on the boards. From that point, we were 17-8 on the glass. They didn't score a field goal from that timeout at 10:08 until 4.5 minutes to go in the game. So we came out of the timeout, got stops, rebounded it, did enough on offense. I thought we played hard enough. We turned them over 19 times to counteract the fact that we did not rebound the ball.
After a slow start to the game, Alabama outscored Georgia by 23 in the second half en route to the 85-76 victory.
Alabama had 4 score in double figures, led by Mark Sears, who had 19 of his game-high 23 points in the second half. Grant Nelson also added 20.
And for the second time this season, Mark Sears has been named the SEC Player of the Week. Sears scored over 20 in wins against 8th-ranked Auburn and LSU. For the week, Sears averaged 21.5 points, 6.5 assists, 4 rebounds, and 2 steals.
And for the first time since week 4, Alabama is back in the top 25. The Crimson Tide entered the Associated Press top 25 at number 24 while earning the 22nd spot in the coaches poll. With the win over the Georgia Bulldogs, the Tide improved to 15-6 overall and sit atop the SEC at 7-1.
The Alabama women's basketball team also picked up a big win this past weekend with a career best performance from one of their stars. We'll tell you who it is coming up next.
Scene at Coleman Coliseum.
Whoever shows up needs to be as loud as they can possibly be.
It is just as loud here at Coleman Coliseum tonight.
But Alabama able to battle and fight and dig down and show toughness and grit.
I thought the crowd was unbelievable.
I'm telling you, this place is rocking right now.
Alabama fans at Coleman Coliseum have been so good all year long. These fans deserve it.
Welcome back to the Crimson Tide Production Studio right here inside of Bryant-Denny Stadium. I am Kinsey Hughes. This guy is Shaw Pryor, and he is sitting in for Roger Hoover this week. Good to have you again.
Thank you. Back at home, the Alabama women's basketball team hosted Kentucky for the annual We Back Pat game to benefit Alzheimer's awareness.
Kentucky started off hot in this one, scoring the first points of the game and leading 20-16 at the end of the first. After a 7-0 run from Alabama and 17 second quarter points from Sarah Ashley Barker, the Crimson Tide went into the break leading 46-36.
In the third, Aaliyah Nye took control, adding 11 points on 3 of 5 shooting from deep to facilitate a 13-2 run over the first minutes of the second half. By the end of the final frame, the Crimson Tide had surpassed 90 points for the 4th time this season with the 91-74 victory over Kentucky.
Just really loved how our team played today on a really special day with We Back Pat. Certainly the way we rebounded the ball. Have 17 offensive rebounds and end up out-rebounding by 18. I think that was the difference in the ball game. It was Alumni Day, so really special to have a lot of alums in the building and really be able to welcome them back. And then our overall crowd just appreciated everybody that came out to support us. We're excited for the opportunity that this week presents. We'll enjoy this till midnight, as I say, and reset. But loved who our team tried to be all week with the preparation and the way we came out and executed the game plan.
And for her performance in the win over the Wildcats, freshman Essence Cody was named SEC Co-Freshman of the Week for the 2nd time this season, as she recorded her 2nd double-double of the year. Cody finished with 14 points and 10 rebounds, along with 3 blocks. The win over UK improved Christy Curry's squad to 16-6 and 3-4 in the SEC.
The Alabama softball team is gearing up for the 2024 season as Patrick Murphy's squad prepares for next week's season opener at the Buzz Classic in Atlanta. The Crimson Tide have been out on the practice field for about 3 weeks now. The Tide have 15 players returning from last year's squad, along with 7 newcomers.
Coach Murphy returns for his 26th season as head coach of the Alabama softball team. And for the first time in 25 years, the Crimson Tide softball team will take the field without associate head coach Allison Habits, who retired in the fall. Taking Coach Habits' spot is former Crimson Tide national champion and ESPN analyst Kayla Bro.
Something in the back of my head, Coach Allie asked me a few years ago, would you ever get into coaching? And I said, no, except for one job, and you have it, so I can't get in until you're done. And she remembered that, and so when this job opened up, she told Murph about it, and I think that's one of the reasons that he called me. But, you know, for me, I think from a TV perspective, you're sitting on the outside of it. It's a great place to be. You get to be objective, win or lose, you can be happy. But what I was really missing was the one-on-one conversations with young women, helping them develop into the best players and people that they can be. And I just wanted to be in those moments of celebrating because it meant so much to me. And everything that I am really was owed to Alabama softball. who I am, my career. I became the young woman I am today because of Alabama softball, and I just wanted to pay it forward to these young women sitting next to me.
And if you were wanting to get season tickets to see the Alabama softball team play this year, I hope you've already got them, because for the third consecutive season, they're officially sold out. But don't worry, single games tickets will go on sale this Monday, February 5th on RollTide.com. And you better jump on those quick if you want them. They're like those Taylor Swift tickets, man. They're going fast.
They are going swiftly, Kenzie. The Alabama softball team has also been hard at work preparing for their season opener at home against Manhattan College on February 16th.
It's a good group, man, like it is. I think the biggest attribute that these guys have outside of their talent is, man, they really like to compete. That's the one thing I really learned about them in the fall. Like when you put them in a competitive environment, whether it's against each other, whether it's against themselves, or whether it's against somebody else, man, they love it. And that's a good place to start. We got to get better. We got to figure some things out. We got to keep growing as a group. And I can tell you, February 16th, we're not going to be a finished product as a group like no team in college baseball is. But, man, they have some of those intangibles that we really look for. And I think the DNA of these kids is pretty special.
And for you Alabama baseball fans, February 10th is for you. That's Fan Day out at Sewell Thomas Stadium. Admission is free and will include bounce houses, face painting, and Big Al for the kiddos. This team will sign autographs and you can watch the Tide practice. It all begins at 11 o'clock, and that will be a really fun day at the Joe for Alabama fans of all ages.
As we go to break, let's head out to the practice field with new head coach Rob Vaughn and the Crimson Tide for their first official practice of the spring.
And for the first time since 2010, the Alabama Crimson Tide is an NCAA region.
Here today as we introduce Rob as the next head coach of Alabama baseball.
I don't need to sell Alabama.
Start the party for the right field Rangers.
This program has laid the foundation. Now it's time for us to knock down the gates of Omaha, and we're going to do that here real soon.
Welcome back to the Crimson Tide production studio inside Bryant-Denny Stadium. He is Shaw Pryor, and I am Kinsey Hughes, and this is TideTV This Week.
We still got several sports to get to covering with the Alabama men's tennis team. Competing in the ITA kickoff this weekend in Lexington, the Crimson Tide took down Nebraska in their opening match 4-2. That win over the Cornhuskers earned the Tide a spot in the Kentucky Regional Final.
In that regional final, the Tide took on number 10 Kentucky, and the Tide defeated the Wildcats 4-2 to earn the Kentucky Regional Championship. It was the Tide's first ITA Regional Championship since 2010. The win earned Coach Husak's squad a spot in the ITA Indoor Championships in New York beginning on February 16th.
A big win for the Alabama men's tennis team. After losing a 4-0 decision to 8th-ranked North Carolina State to open the ITA kickoff weekend, the Alabama women's tennis team closed out the weekend sweeping Iowa 4-0. The win improved the Tide's record to 3-1 on the season.
And Osama El Bukaboy was named SEC Men's Runner of the Week following his historic performance in the 600-meter run at the Bob Pollock Invitational in Clemson, South Carolina. El Bukaboy broke the Alabama school record with a 1:14. His performance ranks second all-time in NCAA track and field collegiate history and the 5th fastest time in world history. The Crimson Tide track and field men's team moved up 6 spots in the rankings to 13th this week, while the women move up 1 to 14.
Stay with us. We'll have our plays and players of the week coming up next.
Tide TV This Week is presented by the University of Alabama, where legends are made. Ford, visit your local Ford dealer, proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide.
And for the first time since 2010, the Alabama Crimson Tide Tide is an NCAA region.
Here today as we introduce Rob as the next head coach of Alabama baseball.
I don't need to sell Alabama.
Start the party for the right field Rangers.
This program has laid the foundation. Now it's time for us to knock down the gates of Omaha, and we're going to do that here real soon.
Top of the key, intended for King. That's stolen by Barker. Barker driving left side layup up, good, and she's fouled. And one. Barker left side throws up a wild shot. She got it. Sarah Ashley Barker.
Yes, and one. Barker, nice pass and finish. Ward has it blocked. Diabate got a piece of that one, and now running the floor. The jam for Bama. Williams kicked it right into the hands of Sears. Step through, finish. Wow!
Oh, that's beautiful.
Beautiful, Yurchenko, 1.5. That is a 10-0 start value. One of the few 10-0 start values in this ball lineup. What a trooper, Lily Hudson.
Those are our plays of the week, brought to you by Legacy of Hope.
Now, let's take a look at our players of the week.
For the second week in a row, Lily Hudson came up huge for the Crimson Tide. The junior struck perfection for the second time in her career, earning a perfect 10 on the vault apparatus in their win over number 8 Florida.
Over on the hardwood, Sarah Ashley Barker was lights out against Kentucky, dropping a 34-point double-double. Barker by herself outscored the Wildcats in the second quarter, 17-16.
And Usama El Bukaboy broke the school record in the 600-meter with his time of 1:14.88. His performance ranks as the second fastest time in NCAA track and field collegiate history and the 5th fastest time in world history. Some great performances this past week, a perfect 10, a career high in points from Sarah Ashley, and that record-breaking time from El Bukaboy, the second fastest in collegiate history and the 5th in the world. That's big time, Shaw.
Right? A roll Tide today. And thanks for watching another episode of Tide TV this week. We'll see you next week right here, same time, same channel.
And you can also watch us online at rolltide.com and on our official UA Athletics page on YouTube. We'll see you next week, everyone. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
This has been a presentation from Learfield.